So we asked you as a congregation not too long ago to be praying about some solves for the opportunities that are in front of us at the chapel, specifically as it relates to our adult population growth. Now as we begin to hit into the fall time frame, we're going to see more and more people that are coming, and so we need to create additional space. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to create additional space because we have additional space, and we're going to do that by having a campus on our campus. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, let me explain what I mean by that. What was formerly known as the Cross Point Theater, which is where I'm standing right now, will soon be known as the East Worship Center. Now, this is going to be a really cool deal because it's not going to require us to add additional services, and we're not going to necessarily have to rent out any additional space because we've got space on our campus. When the middle school students left and went over to the Apex, it left some room in our Cross Point Theater that we're now going to use as worship space. So, how's this going to work? Well, it's going to work this way. At 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, when we have our normal worship gatherings here at the chapel at Cross Point, we're also going to be having worship gatherings in the East Worship Center. Now, what that's going to look like is this. These are going to be concurrent worship environments. Now, that's a big word, so let me break it down in Sesame Street language. It means this. It means that exactly the same thing is going to be going on in both places at the same time, including music. So for instance, part of the band is going to be here located on stage in the main worship center, and part of a band will be located on stage in the East Worship Center. They'll be playing the same song at the same time, and we'll all be worshiping at exactly the same moment. So for instance, Benji could be leading a song here in the main worship center, and in the East Worship Center, they will be listening to Benji lead and watching Benji lead, along with musicians playing with Benji, and they'll all be singing together. I know it sounds confusing, but it's really going to be pretty cool. Also, from a speaking standpoint, if I wanted to, I could walk into the East Worship Center and do the welcome in there, and it would be for both rooms. And if I were speaking in the main worship center, it is for both rooms. So they will be concurrent worship environments. It's going to be a really cool opportunity for us. Now, what we're doing is we're making some venue changes to what was formerly known as the Cross Point Theater and will heretofore be known as the East Worship Center. We've put some paint on the wall, painted the stage. It's going to be a bit of a casual and intimate environment. Bring your coffee and maybe if you've got a pastry or whatever, and you can sit in here. It's going to be a little more of an intimate environment, but it's going to be the same thing. And it's going to be really cool. And this is just a part of kind of Vision 2012, where we've expanded some King's World space over in the former game room here that was right off the former Cross Point Theater. And we've obviously created the Apex. But this creation of this environment is also a part of the whole master plan from Vision 2012 that we've invested in as a church. So we've got a temporary solve for some growth problems or growth opportunities that we have in front of us. But what this doesn't mean is this doesn't mean that we're not going to look at other campuses. It doesn't mean we're not going to be involved in church growth or in church planting. We're still going to be doing all of those things. We just needed a solve for our immediate geography right here and the growth that God's entrusting to us. So this is going to begin September 11th. It's not ready yet. It's still a mess behind the camera. You can't see it, but the whole place is still a mess because they're still redesigning everything. But this is going to be in place on September 11th. So when the kids get back in school, this is what we're going to do marching forward so that we can help to facilitate more people coming and hearing the gospel of Jesus Christ here at the chapel at Cross Point.